Welcome back to the Quickbooks Video Series hosted by Protea Academy. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at paying vendors in QuickBooks. First, we need to navigate to the left-hand panel in QuickBooks to the Expenses tab. We then have the option to choose between expenses and bills. As previously mentioned in a prior video, expenses are items you pay immediately, where bills are items that have terms and due dates. Today, I'll be looking at paying bills in QuickBooks. Let's navigate to the bill screen. As you can see, it automatically brings up your unpaid bills. We'll see a list of our unpaid bills below. This also shows our opening balances as well as our due dates and if the bill is overdue and by how long. Let's click on the first bill. Once we've opened the bill, we can see in the top right-hand corner that we can either schedule an online payment or mark as paid. Schedule an online payment means paying the bill straight from QuickBooks. You will need to set up your subscription to include this to be able to pay bills straight from QuickBooks. Different subscriptions will have different rules and a different amount of ACHs per month. You'll also be charged a fee. Be sure to select the right subscription for your business. Otherwise, we can pay through other options like checks. We will then go and click on the Mark Paid icon in QuickBooks. This will bring up our bill payment screen. Here, we'll need to make sure that we have the right payee, the right account we are paying it out of, whether it's a bank account or credit card account. Make sure that the payee's details are correct, as well as the date of payment. You can also put a reference number or decide to print the check later. If we scroll down, all open unpaid bills will appear under the bill payments. We can select multiple bills to pay multiple bills at one time. You can click the Clear Payment Bill to clear all the selected bills, as well as just pay a partial bill. Let's say we'll pay this first bill in full. As you can see at the bottom, you can also put in the memo and attach an item. Let's click on Save. Once the bill payment is saved, you can click on Print Check. This will bring you to the Print Check screen. Make sure to put in the check number that corresponds with the check you're putting in your printer. Make sure all the details are correct and then click on Print or Preview. This will bring up a preview of the check that you're about to print. As you can see, it will at the top, it's what will print on the actual check, and at the bottom will be a remittance. If you selected more than one payment, this will show up as separate line items and then show up the total that will then be printed at the top of the check. This is very helpful for the vendor you're paying to make sure that they allocate your payments correctly. You then can print the check out. Let's go back to our unpaid bill screen. As you can see, the bill no longer appears on our unpaid bills. Let's go into another bill and click on the Mark as Paid. Over here, we can click the Print Later button. Let's save and close this bill payment. Let's go into our second unpaid bill and repeat the process. Mark as paid. Let's now go to Print Checks. Now we can see that multiple checks appear on our to be printed list. We can select them all and then click on our Print Preview. This will save a lot of time, as now you can print multiple checks at once to different vendors. And as you can see, each individual check will be printed along with the remittance of that check. Make sure that the check number in the top corresponds with the check number you're putting in your printer. This will help when the check gets deposited and will help your bank match this check automatically when it comes through the bank. If the check number differs from what you have in QuickBooks, it will be a lot harder to process your bank transactions. Let's go back to our unpaid bill screen. As we can see, we still have 2 unpaid bills. Let's look at a few different ways to pay. On the right-hand side, you can schedule payment or click on Mark as Paid. You can also click on the Pay Bills icon at the top. Let's click here. This will bring up the Pay Bills screen. This will show all your unpaid bills, and you can tick to pay multiple bills at once. This will save you a lot of time. Remember to select the correct account you're using, as well as the payment date and your reference number. As you can see, you can schedule a payment or save and close for later, and these will be marked off as paid. Let's go back again to our unpaid bills. A few more ways to pay is to select them on the Unpaid Bills tab, more than one bill, and then click on Schedule Payment. You can also click here to manage your payments. This will show you the screen of all the bills you've paid through QuickBooks Pay. Remember, you need to set this up with your subscription to be able to use that. Let's go to the vendor accounts. If we scroll down, we'll see the vendors with open balances. They will also have a payment option right next to their vendor account. If you click here, it will bring up the bill payment screen. Let's go back to our vendor tab. From here, you can click the plus new button, and you can also create a check or a bill payment from the plus new button. Let's take a look at the check. A blank check will come up. Firstly, you need to process the payee's name. If the payee has a bill open, a separate screen on the right will come up where you can add the bill to the check. If you click Add, it will automatically bring up the bill payment screen and the details of the bill you want to pay. Let's go back to Create a Check. You can also create a check for a payee that is not linked to a bill. Type in the payee's name, click the X on the right, and then continue to fill in the details on the screen, like the category and the description of what you're paying. Add in the amount of what you're paying, and you can add a memo or attachment if you have, and then save and close. This creates a separate check that is not linked to a bill. Let's go back to our vendor screen to look at this separate check. Click on the vendor to bring up the details of their account. Over here, we can see the separate check. It's not showing up against any open bill, and we still have our previously open bill. This check was separately written out. Another way is to click the Pay Bill screen on the plus new icon. That will bring up the previously Pay Bill screen that we've looked at. Here you can see how that if you click Print Checks in the plus new icon, it will also navigate you to this screen where any checks previously written out can be printed. Thank you for watching this episode of the QuickBooks Video Series hosted by Protea Academy. In our next episode, we'll take a look at the profit and loss report.